Welcome to Legion Builds, where I guide you on how to bring your favorite characters into Dungeons & Dragons. This video and all my content is brought to you by my Patreon supporters. It's also dedicated to everyone who subscribes to my channel. I say this a lot, but I really mean it. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. As long as one of you enjoys it, I'm going to keep going. So, thank you. Today we're bringing in the Jedi killer, General Grievous. Born on the world of Kali, the man known as Kaiman J. Shalal served in the Confederacy of the Independent Systems during the Clone Wars. After his people were unfairly painted as monsters by the Republic, Kaiman grew to hate the Republic and their mystical warriors known as the Jedi. Forced into serving the banking clan as a general for their droid army, Kaiman's hatred grew more and more. When once more the Republic turned their backs on his home world, Kaiman returned to save his people, but this was all a trap. Preparing for the coming war, Darth Sidious and his puppets plotted against Kaiman to transform him into the perfect soldier for their new droid army. As he was attempting to make it to his world, a secret bomb aboard his ship was detonated, killing everyone but him. Taken by Count Dooku, his brain was placed in a new metal body, even though his body was fine. Told it was an attack by his enemies, and by extension allies of the Republic, Kaiman was reborn Grievous, and began his crusade to burn the Republic down and destroy all Jedi. For today's build, we'll be using the Player's Handbook in Eberron Rising from the Last War. We're using standard point array to make things simple, and it sucks because I can't give you all the stats you should have. And we're multi-classing, so that just kind of adds even more to this. We'll start things off with strength at 15. You have a massive metal body, and that has advantages. Charisma follows at 14. You are consumed with rage, and you make that everyone else's problem. Dex comes in at 13, which I feel is low. You can go all crazy crawling and move fast, but I can't give you better. Con flies in with a 12. Don't blame me, they messed up your lungs when they made you a cyborg. This is just insulting when you find out your normal body was perfectly fine and they just threw it away. FYI, you will never find out they threw away your perfectly good body. Intelligence will be low with a 10. You are a brilliant tactician, but standard point array says nope. And we're dumping wisdom because there isn't an insight check you haven't failed since the Republic showed up. Not gonna lie, you are just really bad at insight checks. Grievous was a Kali, which would actually be a lizard folk, but that body was thrown away for no good reason. I told you, you can't pass an insight check to save your life, literally. I know I've already ragged on you for both your insight checks and your body, but wow. Warforged found in Eberron will have to work. I say that because if I had a choice, I'd go with Gearforged from Cobalt Press because they literally are organic life turned into constructs. But for some odd reason, not everyone uses Cobalt Press, and that's sad. Place +2 into con and +1 into strength. Constructed resilience gives you advantage on saving throws against being poisoned, resistance to poison damage, pretty sure it should be immune, but who cares. You're immune to disease, you don't sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. Finally, you don't require food, water, or air. Sentry's Rest makes your long rest 6 hours, where you are conscious but inactive. What a hellish existence you now lead, all because of your poor wisdom modifier. Okay, I'm done ragging on you now, I'm sorry. Specialized Design gives you a skill and tool proficiency of your choice. Take Persuasion and whatever skill you need to fix your body because damn have you lost a lot of hands. Integrated Protection adds +1 to your AC and you seal your armor to your body after 1 hour and it takes another hour to remove it. For your background, we need to take the skills Intimidation and Acrobatic. Level 1 fighters start things off with 2 skills. Grab Athletics and Perception. You have a negative to Perception, but at least this makes it so you notice when the 2 Jedi are talking to each other with hand signals in front of you. Fighting Style gives you a fighting style. Really simple and self-explanatory. 2 weapon fighting lets you add your damage modifier to your offhand attack when using 2 weapons. Right now you can only wield 2 light weapons, and in D&D lightsabers aren't light. Don't understand why, they're just handles, but fine, whatever. We'll fix this later, don't worry. Use scimitars till then. Second Wind lets you ignore damage once per short or long rest by healing yourself 1d10 plus your fighter level with a bonus action. Oh yeah, before we continue, I will not be giving you 4 arms. Probably should have told you that sooner, but I just guaranteed you'd watch the video up to this point. Good for the algorithm. Now, why am I not giving you 4 arms? Because there is no set of rules for multiple arms that can wield weapons in D&D that I can even suggest, which means homebrew, and that's not my job. Talk to your DM to see how they feel they would want to do this, but also don't worry, I'm going to give you as many attacks as possible, like right now. Level 2 fighters gain Action Surge. You can now give yourself a free action once per short or long rest. That means you now have 3 attacks with 2 weapons and an Action Surge. Level 3 fighters receive their subclass. Before you were tricked and turned into a toaster with tuberculosis, you were a damn good and brilliant warrior. Okay, I guess I lied about not ragging on you anymore. Battlemaster, found in the player's handbook, is what a fighter should be. Combat superiority grants you superiority dice. These are 4 d8s that you can use to perform special moves, called maneuvers. Creative name, huh? At this level, you have 3 maneuvers. For those maneuvers, Brace lets you attack one creature with a reaction when it moves within reach of your melee weapon by expending a superiority dice. If you hit, you can now add your superiority dice to the damage. Lunging attack lets you increase your weapon's reach by 5 feet when you attack by spending a superiority dice. If you hit, you add the superiority dice to the damage. Parry lets you reduce damage from a melee attack with a reaction by expending a superiority dice. When you do this, you roll your superiority dice and add your dex modifier to reduce the damage. Level 4 fighters earn our first ability score improvement, and we need to fix what weapons you can use with a feat. Dual Wielder allows you now to wield 2 weapons that are not light. You can now stow or pull 2 weapons with the same action. And when wielding 2 weapons, you can add +1 to your AC. Now you can wield 2 longswords or 2 lightsabers should you get that. By the way, Sunblades, D&D lightsabers, are longswords that deal radiant damage. And a bit more, but this is not analyzing D&D weapons, though that would be an interesting video. Time to rage. Level 1 paladins start off with Divine Sense. This lets you sense celestial, fiend, or undead that is within 60 feet of you, and this makes no sense for you, but paladins get better features than this. If you are a force wielder, I would say this is like a force sense, but I guess this could be scanning, though you didn't get your eyes upgraded. You can do this a number of times equal to your charisma modifier between long rests. Lay on Hands grants you a healing pool of 5 times your paladin level. As an action, you can expend some of those points to heal yourself or someone else, but you don't have friends, so who cares? You can also expend 5 points at once to end 1 disease or neutralize 1 poison. Level 2 paladins receive a fighting style. Defense bumps up your AC by 1 when wearing armor. Spellcasting makes you a half caster. You can now prepare a total number of spells per long rest that equals your charisma modifier plus half your paladin level. This means you're starting with 3 spells. For your prepared spells, Cure Wounds heals 1d8 plus your charisma. And who cares from here? Why am I not caring what spells you use? Because you also receive Divine Smite. This lets you burn spell slots to add 2d8 radiant damage to your weapon attack. This means if your DM doesn't give you a lightsaber, you're dealing lightsaber damage when you burn a resource. You could also add an extra d8 if the target is undead or a fiend. Level 3 paladins gain their subclass, and you should totally see where we're going with this. Vengeance, found in the player's handbook. Oath spells grant you free spells at certain levels that you always have prepared. For your Oath spells, Hunter's Mark lets you mark a target within 90 feet with a bonus action for 1 hour while you maintain the spell. While marked, you deal an extra 1d6 damage to the targets, and you have advantage on perception and survival checks to find the creature. When the target drops to 0 before the spell ends, you can use your bonus action to move the mark to a new target. Bane targets up to 3 creatures within 30 feet of you and forces a charisma save. Should they fail while the spell is active, they must subtract 1d4 from any attack roll or saving throw. You must maintain the spell for 1 minute. Channel Divinity grants you special features once per short or long rest. For these features, Abjure Enemy lets you choose 1 creature within 60 feet of you that you can see, forcing a wisdom save, unless it is immune to being frightened. On a failed save, the creature is frightened for 1 minute and has its speed reduced to 0 and can't receive bonuses to its speed. Valvemity targets a creature within 10 feet of you with a bonus action. You now have advantage on attacks against the creature for 1 minute or until it drops to 0. Level 4 Paladins earn another ability score improvement. Place this into Strength. You can now prepare a total of 4 spells per long rest. Level 5 Fighters now have extra attack. You can now attack twice with a single attack action, bringing your total attacks up to 3 with 2 weapons, or 5 with an action surge. Level 6 Fighters earn another ability score improvement. Let's cap off Strength for better damage. Level 7 Battlemaster Fighters gain Know Your Enemy. By observing or interacting with a creature for 1 minute outside of combat, you learn 2 facts about this creature compared to your facts. After 1 minute, you learn if these 2 facts are equal, superior, or inferior to yours. These facts can be Strength score, Dex score, Con score, AC, current HP, total levels, or total fighter levels. For your new maneuvers, Pushing Attack lets you expend a superiority dice to drive a creature back with an attack. When you hit a creature with this, you add the superiority dice to the damage, and if they are a large or smaller creature, they must make a strength save. If they fail, they are pushed back to 15 feet away from you. Sweeping Attack lets you continue your attack after hitting a creature to another creature by expending a superiority dice. When you deal damage to a creature, you can choose another creature within 5 feet of the original target and use the original attack roll to hit it. If the attack roll would hit the second target, you deal the superiority dice in damage. By the way, you now have 5 superiority dice. Level 8 Fighters earn another ability score improvement. Place this into Charisma, meaning you're now really scary, and you can prepare a total of 5 spells per long rest. Level 9 Fighters receive Indomitable. You can now reroll 1 failed saving throw per long rest, including death saves. Level 10 Battlemaster Fighters now have improved combat superiority. Your superiority dice are now D10s. For your new maneuver, Repose lets you use your reaction when a creature misses you with a melee attack. Should you hit, you add the superiority dice to the damage. Menacing Attack lets you scare the hell out of a creature by expending a superiority dice when you hit them. When you hit the target, you add the superiority dice to the damage, then force a wisdom save. Should they fail, they are now frightened of you until the end of your next turn. Level 11 Fighters gain extra attack ×2. You can now attack 3 times with a single attack action, bringing your total number of attacks to 4 with 2 weapons or 7 with an action surge. Level 12 Fighters earn another ability score improvement. Place this into Dex for a better AC. Level 13 Fighters now have 2 uses of Indomitable. Level 14 Fighters earn another ability score improvement. Let's grab a feat. Tough gives you twice the number of HP equal to your current character level, which is level 18, and then adds +2 HP to every level after. At this level, you are now gaining 36 HP. Level 15 Battlemaster Fighters receive Relentless. Now when you roll initiative and have no superiority dice, you regain 1. It's not really great for a final subclass feature. Sorry. For your final 2 maneuvers, Trip Attack lets you knock down a creature after you hit with an attack by expending a superiority dice. When you hit with the attack, you add the superiority dice to the damage and then force a strength save if the creature is larger or smaller. On a failed save, they are knocked prone. Make sure to do this first so you can gain advantage on all your other attacks. Commanding Presence lets you add your superiority dice to an intimidation, performance, or persuasion check. Our final level is level 16 Fighter, and you earn our final ability score improvement. Let's bump up health by placing this into Con. If you want, you can place this somewhere else, like Charisma for more spells prepared, or Wisdom to knock out that negative. Now that we've hit level 20, let's recap. Your stats are Strength 20, Dex 15, Con 16, Intelligence 10, Wisdom 8, Charisma 16. Your total levels are Fighter 16, Paladin 4. Let's dive in. You are a beast in combat. You're attacking 4 times normal, 7 times with an action surge. You can add 2d8 radiant damage and an additional 1d10 damage when you add additional effects such as knocking enemies down, scaring them, lunging them, attacking them when they get near you, or attacking them when they miss you. You're also pretty tough. Taking the quick build option of chainmail with constructed resilience, you're starting out with an AC of 17 and you can take that up to 19. You have a healing pool and can heal yourself 1d10 plus 16 per short rest, all while being able to re-roll saving throws. To round all this out, you have a total HP of over 200, taking the average. Downside. Firstly, you have limited resources with 5 superiority dice and only 3 spell slots, which you'll be wanting to use for Divine Smite for more damage. But you'll burn them faster if you try casting spells because you actually have access to some really good combat spells. You also need those smites to deal magical damage because you don't deal magical damage. Though you will eventually get a magic weapon, maybe even a Sunblade if you bribe your DM enough. Finally, your wisdom is terrible. Roll for stats though, and this gets better. And while you're at it, raise your other stats as well because frankly, I think you need more improvements, but that's just me. Get out there and make the Republic pay for what they did, or what you think they did, and show the Jedi they aren't the heroes the galaxy needs. Thank you for joining me today. I release a new character build each week on YouTube and Spotify. Over on Patreon, you can become a supporter for just $1 and help decide on next week's new video. Now, live on Patreon, it's time for the Battle of the Killer Toys. It's Chucky versus Huggy Wuggy.